Hello. We just finished up with Module 1, and we're going to move right on into Module 2 of our professional development modules. So, moving right on, not moving that, but moving right on down. Let's start where we finished off with our pop quiz of Module 1. What is the purpose of instructional design and why are the components important? We pretty much explained why the components are important throughout Module 1 because of because the four components of instructional design is the basis of your instructional design models. Even though the instructional design models differ, the baseline of every instructional design model will be analysis, um, design, development, and evaluation. Okay, so moving right on into Module 2, creating learning experiences. And this basically furthers the explanation of what it's like to it furthers the explanation of the four components and of different instructional designs because this is what's needed to create a new learning experience. So moving right on into it to our learning outcomes. By the end of this module, you should be able to identify 3 different instructional design models. Now, as mentioned before, there are many different other instructional design models, but our base models are what you're going to be learning about. The reasons behind creating learning experiences, what it takes to create learning experiences, and to further the explanation of the 4 components to instructional design. So really quick, I want to go back to the reasons behind creating learning experiences. And I can tell you that right now. The reason behind creating learning experiences is basically to be more efficient, more effective, and make learning less difficult. Okay, so moving right on into the terms to learn. Again, these are terms just to keep in mind as we go throughout our modules. So Pebble in the Pond, which is an instructional design model. So it's the Pebble in the Pond design model. Well, instructional design model, and then we have the SAM model. We have design, the word itself to just keep in mind, and goals. Okay, so moving on to our next. Let me see, move down right here. Moving on to our next slide. Going to explain to you a little bit more about creating learning experiences. Instructional design is all about building learning experiences, and that is very much true. It's all that instructional design is doing is building and creating new learning experiences. And the purpose of instructional design is to build and create effective learning experiences for students and trainees for a specific topic using systematic designs. To achieve effective learning outcome, the science of instruction and instructional design models are used to guide and develop of instructional design strategies that elicit appropriate cognitive processes. Ooh, that was a mouthful, but very, very effective and very much true. So moving on to the creation of learning experiences. Before a teacher or trainer can create a lesson and deliver it to their students, they must begin to figure out what is needed. And this is something that is coming straight from me, straight from Avia King, and I believe professionally that what is needed in order to create your lesson or your professional development plan or anything really that you need while you're creating even a curriculum, if you will. You need to think about the design, the goal, and your desired outcome of your lesson. And these are the 3 things that I believe professionally will help push you forward in order to get that professional development plan done, to get your curriculum done, to get your lesson plans done. Okay, so moving on, we have the ADDIE model. So, a part of creating learning experiences is using different models to achieve a goal or a lesson. In our previous model, we talked about the 4 components of instructional design and how it makes up instructional design itself. The instructional design models are made up of the same components: analysis, design, development, and evaluation. And that's something that we covered in our last module. Um, and you find that the ADDIE model, which is professionally my favorite model to use because it's simple and it really just kind of gets right to the point for me, which is analysis, design, develop, implementation, and evaluation. And so let's moving on to our next model that we're going to talk about is the SAM model. So mind you guys, there are two phases. So you actually have two charts. If you look back in our textbook, you'll notice that there are two charts, if you will, two pictures there, but just one here just showing you the three-phase step. There's a two-phase step and the three-phase step. And this is just here to show you, just to get you a good idea of what it looks like, okay? So the SAM model. The SAM model is another example of instructional design models. Its purpose is to develop and provide maximum opportunities for review, evaluations, and corrections. In other words, the SAM model provides multiple opportunities to correct and try learning solutions. And that's actually my saying. So I'm going to really quickly just kind of copy and paste this so it will be in the right spot. Uh-oh. Go back and do that. So this can be in the right spot. It was put in the wrong spot. There we go. And that is a quote that was taken from our textbook. Just want to make sure that it is put in the right spot and is looking the correct way. There we go, and that is better. And there you have it, friends, are the SAM model. So moving on to Pebble in the Pond. Now here in this page, you notice that there isn't a chart, there's just a picture. And you'll notice within this picture, something being dropped, let's assume it's a pebble, into a pond, and you'll notice the ripple effects here. So there's the little pebble being dropped in the ripple effects, okay? So moving on, the pebble in the pond is a figure of speech within instructional design. And what it is meant by that is that the problem pebble is being thrown into an instructional pond, creating a ripple effect of steps and solutions like progression, component skills, enhanced strategies, finalized design, and evaluation, which again, you'll notice our four components are also in this. So basically, that's what that is. It's another instructional design that can be used, and there you have it. Three different models that we went over, which is, just going back really quickly, the ADDIE model, the SAM model, and the Pebble in the Pond model. And moving on, here is our Pop Quiz Module 2, which is just a question to help you guys really think about certain things, like what is the significance of ADDIE and how does it relate back to the four components? And if you will, we just talked about this, that it relates back to the four components because I mentioned before that it's one of my favorite models to use, is because it basically contains it. And here is the proof, the analysis, the design, the development, and the evaluation. It has the four components itself, as does every other model. Well, and that ends our and let me show you guys the references. There we go. And that ends our module 2. Thank you so much for your time. I hope that you enjoyed this. I know I did. Thank you so much. Bye.